Say something else.
My name is Sheikh Sula, the Myfula, the old schooler. You want a trip? I bring it to you. Fry lock and I'm on top, rock you like a top. Meat wad, you're up next with your knock knocks. I'm the see. Get the honeys, see. Driving in my car, living like a star. Sun my fingers and my toes and I'm a Taurus. Yeah, check it. Cause we are the Aqua Teen. Make the homies say ho and the girlies wanna scream. Cause we are the Aqua Teen. Make the homies say ho and the girlies wanna scream. Aqua Teen Hunger Force. Number one in the hood, G.
This is the best intro we could have possibly had. We have to do something with that. I don't know what, but. I'm Prim.
I'm Sorvana, and we're from the realm of Dunlin.
And this is Game Face LARP, a foam fighting podcast. And we are coming to you today with our 4th episode. We're very excited. This is actually the first episode with a guest. There's a third person in the room.
Okay, everybody.
And it's not Whoosh.
Everybody look to your left, look to your right, and look inside your brain and go, who is it?
Marik. It's Marik. We're excited to have our neighbor from Dragonspire, Marik, Sir Marik. Yeah, we're gonna introduce him. We're gonna talk about some weapon crafting. We're also gonna talk with Marik about the evolution of the game and the community, because I think he's got some hot takes for us to share about everything.
I want to know all of Marik's weapon hot takes.
We're also going to hit on all the Facebook questions we've been asking and highlight our favorite answers and talk about things related to that. And that's pretty much going to, I just think we should just start getting into it because we've got so many topics to cover and I know we literally only have like an hour. So without further ado, we would like to welcome to the podcast as our first official guest, Sir Marik of Dragonspire. Welcome.
Hey guys, this is Sir Marik. Mick Arney is my real name. I've been playing 16 years. Some of you might know me as a spear fighter, former Atlantean, or just that guy. But hey, nice to be here, guys.
Yay! Thank you for joining us.
So excited. Like, honestly, like most of the weapons that I touch, Marik touched before I ever touched them. And they're great.
Together.
Yes. We was either there instructing people how to make them or anything in between.
So we, with our first episode, we did kind of like an intro of ourselves. And so I think we're going to try to follow that a little bit in your intro. We've kind of hit some of these. Got your persona name, Sir Marik. Do you have like any story behind your name that you want to share?
Yeah, so I was always a big Michael Crichton fan growing up. I love dinosaurs, so Jurassic Park.
Marik loves dinosaurs?
No, right?
This is a new fact for everyone.
Anyway, so I got into some of his other books, and one of the books was Timeline. It's about this group of archaeologists that get transported back to the 18th century, and one of the archaeologists there, he is what we call a archaeologist. They try to recreate stuff from the time period so that we can better interpret those details. And his name was Andre Marik. Marik was his last name. And so I took that name. I thought it was cool. And that was kind of my big inspiration for not only by like my career, but also just like foam fighting in general, just who the character represented. Yeah, he was awesome.
I feel like I have a new book.
Yeah,
I'm an avid book reader, and now I'm like, ooh, new book. Secret insights into Marik. Also, like, it's really cool whenever you can find something like that you can just like. Oh,
it's true. I mean, mine's kind of like that because it's from the Hunger Games. Like, it's from a book. So it's cool the like ties we all have to different. Like, stories that we've heard. Like, I just love that.
I think too, like with a lot of LARPers in general, they grew up on stories like that, and just that was their inspiration for what kind of led them to be here, to create who they wanted to be, you know? And by the way, Timeline's they made it into a movie. Yeah.
I gotta read the book first. I gotta do book.
Paul Walker, Gerard Butler.
I'm a huge Gerard Butler fan. Oh my god.
Okay, yeah, I can leave the Paul Walker, but it's controversial. That's my hot take. I can leave that.
Love that. I'm gonna check it out. That's cool as hell.
I listen to a lot of books while I'm driving, and I'm like, I'm already downloading it in my mind.
I know some people really love Gerard Butler and like 300 and like, oh my god, chisel abs, but Dracula 2000 with the long hair.
No. Phantom
Yeah.
of the Opera.
Oh yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
my god,
Merrick.
that was
Phantom.
like my
Mhm.
first like high school big crush.
Oh yeah, Phantom of the
Mhm.
Opera.
Me and one of my friends, like we were obsessed. And my theater friend, of course, we're obsessed with him.
Oh
Now
yeah.
my brain is playing Masquerade.
I know the whole thing. I love that whole thing. But yeah. So that's gonna hit your realm, which is Dragonspire.
Mhm.
What about do you want to tell us about like your realm and your unit and
Sure.
those things? Kind of just a little bit of that.
Oh goodness, where to start with the realm? So
Right.
Dragonspire was founded by the name of Douglas Toth. He went by Istvan. He was a knight in SCA.
Okay.
There was an SCA group around here years ago. It unfortunately died out, and he was kind of an old guy and didn't really want to do SCA much anymore, but still wanted to do the fighting. So he's like, "Hey, what's this dagger here stuff?" And so I think sometime in the spring or summer of 2006, him and his wife learned about it, built some swords, and got a few of their friends out to, I think, Fairbanks Park, and they started a little group, and here it is.
Years later.
Yeah, 20 years later, still going. His legacy's living strong. He's retired now. I'm still doing pretty good.
I was like, how long have you have an official like Dragonspire title? Like, what is the actual? Is there a?
Over.
It's not really like a monarch. I've never heard it like
Oh,
mentioned. Not in the same way
um,
like Stormcrest like lists their things. You know what I mean?
So when Istvan founded the realm, he based it loosely off of like Arthurian myth. So think on like Middle Ages England. So yeah, technically the title would be king, though I rarely ever go by that title.
No.
I'm not.
saying I know what it
Never
was.
heard it, and that's why I was like,
Yeah.
I wonder if that is like technically.
We literally had to drag it out of Merrick that he was king. We
You
literally
heard
just
it
did that.
here.
Sorry.
Oh,
Sorry,
you're
Merrick.
okay.
No, I totally get it. But that's
I'm-
why I was curious because
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
know like it's different in every place.
Literal humble king.
Oh yeah, yeah. Everyone
best
treats their realm presidency title differently, depending on what game it is, or even just
Yeah.
your own morality and belief system. And I
Hmm.
guess for me, though we do have this, I still want to pay homage to that title. It's just I may not recognize it myself personally because I have a weird thing with titles and power and all that. So I try to stay humble as much as I can and I'm just Merrick. Like if they don't say Sir Marik, people say Sir Marik. I just say Marik, Or it's the same with when they refer to me as king or monarch. Who's the leader of your realm? Just Marik.
Yeah.
I'm just a guy.
You really are. You have such a long career and so much knowledge, and you have every right to be arrogant jerk. But you really, if your goal has been to remain humble, there's never been a time I've ever been like, ooh, me and Merrick's ego can't fit in this room. Never, never. You're very humble.
Which
You've
I think makes a
succeeded.
really good leader too, which is
Mhm.
why Dragonspire continues to just be
Mhm.
a little group,
Yeah.
Full of many-
Just
so
a
many
nice
good
little
lights,
home.
sweet people, like, truly sweet people.
I think
Not
we're
putting it on
lucky because we
performative.
also have a little bit of overlap of like
Mhm.
all of our circles of people, I think.
Mhm.
And I
Mhm.
think that's what also makes it kind of nice. Like we never go to Dragonspire like, oh, this is just like another realm. It's like, oh no, this is like also Dragonspire is like also home. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think too, like decade or more ago, it wouldn't have been like that. I don't think it would have been like that for most realms in the country. Probably a couple or a few here or there probably had some type of homogenous relationship with one another, especially some of the ones that were closer in the city. Ever like it was pretty much about like your team and so screw the other guys kind of deal.
Mhm.
Very competitive sports team.
It was competitive to a certain degree. I think too there was just a lot more pride.
Hometown pride kind of
Yeah, a
thing.
lot of hometown
Mhm.
pride, but sometimes that can be a little toxic. Ultimately, like even growing up, like we're still friends, but I think there was a little bit more stock in our own, or a little bit more pride in our own, and so it was very much like we're friends, but we're not necessarily going to help all the time, kind of deal. I think that was
Reasonable too.
yeah, it was fairly reasonable. Whereas other groups, I've known them to hate each other. But,
Yeah. I can imagine like having beef. I'm not ready for realm beef. I can't have a realm beef.
oh, it's ridiculous.
But any kind of group you end up being a part of, like there's always going to end up being cliques and stuff. So like,
Oh,
it's just a natural thing. I think that occasionally happens. But I think,
Unfortunately, that's humanity.
yeah, but I think we're doing a good job of trying to stomp that out when we see it.
Yeah, we We do. It's really hard though.
Yeah.
It is.
Like I've been playing for 16 years, and there have been a lot of good times, a lot of bad times in the game. People you thought maybe were like really good, but turned out to be, some bad eggs or here or there, or just some people that just get so tired of dealing with stuff and they just don't want to help out in the game. Don't even want to do anything for themselves really anymore.
Burnout is real.
Yeah,
Burnout is
Burnout
real.
is-
burnout is real.
And that was like part of the reason I think about that is like whenever we were talking about like doing certain things within Download, and even when I was talking to you and stuff like that about talking about like volunteers and stuff like that, like I stand by the statement. It's like we all play the sport and have fun, but it's because of the work other people put in. Events don't just happen, and practices don't just get ran. Like
No.
we always have to remember that it's somebody's sweat and hard work that has brought this to us. So I try to remain grateful, but I'm just a little baby, so it's
Mhm.
easy when you're it's easy when you're
we
new.
still have a little bit of that fresh energy.
Yeah, exactly. I still got that baby powder on me.
But I think we're lucky that we're hitting it at the age we're hitting it too, because while we
True.
do have like the newness of like doing this new activity, we also have been in our youth. I mean, I'm speaking for myself mostly,
Mhm.
but like burnt myself out of my hobbies, youth, and do those things anymore. But
Mhm.
a
We're
part
wiser
of
now.
me really missed a lot of those things. I found a lot of those things coming to this.
Yeah.
So I think it makes me at this stage more aware to avoid the burnout and like try to not overdo myself, and also like asking for help and letting people help.
Yes,
I think
that's
is a big one.
yes,
Yeah.
letting people
I think
help.
is a big one too. It is hard.
Yeah, I think too, like with a lot of people, they can love the game so much that they want to do as much as they can for it. They don't realize how much of a detriment that it can actually be
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
for themselves too a lot of the time. And you really
Nothing's for
don't-
free.
Oh no, every action spent,
That's why I'm so grateful to be in my 30s, like you're saying. It's like, yeah, I know that now. At 28, I didn't know that. I
No.
didn't know that, yeah, you can go forever, but you will eventually crash.
Or
like,
you can say no.
can say no.
You can say no.
Yeah.
I'm still
Like
working on
if
that.
somebody's like, "Can you do like 75 things?" Instead of being like, "Oh gosh, I can't disappoint everyone. I have to do 75 things." You can say no to some of the things. Like at this stage, we have more of an idea of what we can actually balance realistically.
Delegation.
Yeah,
too.
and what's important, I think.
Yeah, at the end of the day.
At the end of the day, it's like
Mhm.
What do you girls do when you don't have the opportunity to say no, given like situations like winning Dunland or
You dig deep, then for the next thing, you sit out.
yeah,
You dig deep, and the next thing, that's the only
Mhm.
thing. That's just mom logic to me. I kind of view like my responsibilities in the same category as like being a mom, right? Like that's my number
Mhm.
one responsibility for the rest of my life. So I learned through having a small child that sometimes you got to spend all night up with that kid. That kid is sick, and you got to hold that baby, and that baby's going to throw up all over you. You
Mhm.
know. And then the next day, hopefully you have some PTO, and you can get some sleep. You got to schedule breaks for yourself.
that's true. I just try to get it to the point where I can hand it off, and being aware of when I'm like, okay, I need to make myself step back and be like, okay, now it's other people's thing. Now I can give all the advice I want, but at the end of the day, to like,
And when you care
even
about
if
it,
it's not the way you would do it.
yeah, and
Which
the more
also
you
is
care about
hard.
it, the more you want it to be exactly the way you would like. What about you, Merrick? Like you've been doing this for a hot, double, triple hot minute now. And yeah, I've never used a double, triple hot. So
Whoa.
that's special for you, Merrick. How do you sustain this? Because you not only have participated, but that person that we're talking about that's ran the event and the practice that has had to show up to be that person because somebody had to do it.
guess like so for me initially, like didn't officially take a title as like leader of the realm until a couple years ago, but unofficially I've always been kind of helping the realm. Now for me, I guess I grew up always trying to facilitate fun for me and my friends because I grew up living in BFE. Like if I had friends come out to my house, it's like what we gonna do, you know?
Got to play in it.
Yeah, I gotta
Have
plan
to
it. I got
facilitate fun.
Yeah.
Feels like so into my soul.
I know.
That felt so real.
That was the real quote right there.
You have to facilitate fun. That's like, yeah,
well, I had
I get it.
yeah.
Like you know where I live now.
Yeah.
You've been here a couple times, but I
This is
get
true.
it.
And so like me, this was always kind of like secondary. Like it's not something that I can't do. It's just something that kind of comes secondary to me. It's like I want something, so I'm going to do as much as I can to make it work. So like if I want foam fighting to happen, I will do what I can to make it work. Even if I don't want to get up half the time or stay up late working on a project or telling a kid the 20th time on how to build a sword, even though I've shown him how to build it.
Not being me, probably.
I'll do it.
I'm not going to name a name,
I'm
but
good at
I know
other
a
stuff.
person.
I'm good at other stuff. But building weapons, I'm just like, my brain can't compute anymore. I'm like, I'll just make someone else do it for me.
See, I'm
Okay.
so ready.
I can fix my arrows though.
You did.
I can take the things off and put them on.
Yeah.
I
See,
can
I'm
do the modular arrow.
I'm so excited to finally like be done with school because like right now, like I don't have a space to be like whipping DAP out. Like I'd have to go outside to do
Yeah.
DAP work right now.
Mhm.
But now that I'm getting done with school and stuff like that, I can actually get more into the weapon sides of it because like I can from inside the house, I can sew, I can embroider, I can do all of
Right.
these things. But right now, until like I'm seriously only looking at rentals that have a garage right now.
I don't blame
I'm
you.
like, they don't have a garage. What am I going to do with that? I'm just going to be starting to acquire equipment because I truly do want to learn how to like, not just for the realm, but me personally, because it's interesting. Like there have been a lot of times over there, Eric, that I've been over there and I'm like, don't start because I have the ADHD. And if I start, afraid of how much of my life it's going to take over at this point,
Yeah.
and I don't have the percentages for something to come in. You know?
I understand.
Yeah.
My shop is full of dozens of projects, my own personal projects, not on top of everyone else's.
That's the rule of being like a creator. Like, and I hate the word artist because I'm not like, I feel like there's so much like, I don't know, like associated with
Yeah.
it, right? Like
Mhm.
I like viewing myself as a creator. I want something to exist. So I put the work in to will it into existence. Whatever steps that come from this to that, I created something. That's the way I like to view it. And you're creating things. That's what happens. You end up having all those projects.
Right. Like when it comes to like the term artist, like I feel like that's a term people ascribe to you. It's not one that you can ascribe to yourself
That's a very good point.
because, art is an interpretation of beauty. And so like for me personally, like I've looked at many of my projects and I've thought they were ugly. All the mistakes in them, everything. But then I get other people telling me like, "Oh my God, your work's amazing." And it's just like, I don't see it, but thank you. And if people want to call me an artist, they can call me an artist, but I'm just a maker.
There you go. See,
I would say a crafter or a maker. I like both of those because I don't feel like they're necessarily just art. To me is something that you're looking at and it doesn't always necessarily have a function, but like the things we're all making typically have some kind of function to them.
This
Like
is
we're
true.
doing
Yeah.
something with, like you're wearing them like as part of your garb, or
Mhm.
like somebody's putting them on their belt, or you're fighting with them, or
They serve a purpose.
Yes.
yeah, a lot of the things that we all make. I feel like I do. I think
But
maker or
function can
creator.
be-
Yeah, I
Function
think
can be art.
can
I'll-
sometimes. I don't know.
No.
I'm
Yeah.
not that cool. I'm not that topical.
I can get real deep and talk about nothing.
This
for
class
45
now?
minutes. Yeah,
Are
exactly.
you in class mode?
I almost went there. Did you see me perk out? Did you see that? I was like, and then I was like, oh no, Sam, you go see Vicky.
Just getting ready to give her presentation. I love that. Though. We've kind of skipped around a little bit of our thing, but I kind of like really enjoy the organic way we kind of talked about some of the things that we had on our list like later too, just to kind of go backwards slightly. I think we'll keep
Okay.
hitting on the things we talked about. As far as like, I'm gonna hit these two things. You talked a little bit about what you fight with, obviously. One of the things we talked about in our first episode, what our first event was, and you've been in this for a really long time. Curious what your first event was, when it was, how, like all of the details of it.
So my first official event I went to was the very first war.
Wow.
For
first war?
Middlemarch's war?
Yeah,
Dang.
Middlemarch's first war.
Do you remember when that was?
A
Approximately.
minute ago.
It was the second or third week of November 2010. I do know when I started. I do know that start date, so this will give you some perspective on time frame. I started September 22nd, 2010, shortly after I graduated high school. So that literally not even 2 months later, I was at my first event. Funny story about that event. No one really told me about garb standards. So I'm gonna give you a little embarrassing story for me. So I had just been showing up to practice in blue jeans and a plain t-shirt, throwing this tabard over me, and it was literally just a blue bed sheet with a hole in it. and I was wearing, the boots as well, and using workman's gloves. So I was very cheap started. And so I get to the event, I throw on my tabard, everything just like normal practice, and show up with it on, and they look at me and they're like, "You can't wear blue jeans." I was like,
Oh no.
"What?" Like, "Yeah, you'll have to change." I was like, "Don't really have any other fighting pants or anything." They're like, "Well, you can't play." And I was just like, I was deeply disheartened for a second, but then at the time, the person I was kind of under, or who was kind of showing me the ropes in the game, his name was Sanak, and he was like, "Wait, you wore like your thermal pajamas today, right?" I was like, "Because this is late November, it's cold as out." I was like, he's like, "Those. Keep in mind, these are bright red plaid pajamas." So, and this was at a time when garb standards were still kind of ish, you could say, and people were very stingy about certain things. So, like, if anyone asked, he said, "Well, you're Scottish." And yeah, a couple people did ask me that were heralds or event staff. And yeah, I told them I was Scottish, and even threw up like a fake Scottish accent too. So here I am in this blue tabard wearing a t-shirt underneath and rocking these baggy, bright red plaid pajamas.
Please tell me there's a photo somewhere.
So there is 2 photos I believe still out there that exist of me in these pajamas. And keep in mind, these were brand new American Eagle plaid pajamas. And if you've been to war, you know war, especially the site, has lots of thorns. So by the end of the event, those pajamas became short.
Yeah.
And my mom was not happy because she had just got
2010
those for
American
me.
Eagle.
Yeah, back when that stuff meant something. And now you're looking back, it's like,
I
even
know.
matter.
No.
Like
The
it's
silver jeans. like-
Silver jeans,
Oh my
yes.
god.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's so funny.
Yep. And now Jinkos are back in style
They
again.
are.
Baggy clothes are back
Yeah.
in style.
I didn't save my.
I'm gonna fight the low-rise jeans though for the rest of my life.
I will
Like
fight
I
the
will
low-rise.
never do that. No. That's I don't care if it comes back. Be old.
People might
Aw.
away to a baby time ago, and I hope.
For people who don't know me, I used to be a prep kid in high school. I looked like one.
What?
I looked like a
Hold
preppy
up.
kid. Oh yeah.
Really? Hey, we need photos.
No pop collar, but I did wear the Hollister, American Eagle, had
See?
a white hat, white shoes.
We're getting the dirt.
Yeah. And now here I am. I look like a long-haired hippie.
Yeah.
I like this.
You're not wrong. But I'm shocked. I love it though.
Yeah, with a baby face and
That's
tan.
crazy.
Tan.
tan as they got.
Oh my god. That's it. That was an amazing.
Yeah, I got a blue steel moment. High school, no.
That
Age
was-
here.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
That's a
we're
good
right there
story.
with you. I was 2008. Yeah, slightly. Slightly. So we
Yeah.
would have all been in high school together at one point.
I would have been seniors.
Wouldn't
and
that
be
be
like, "Yeah, maybe you
crazy?
losers."
That would have been weird.
That'd been crazy. Because you were a popular person.
I wasn't. I was the weird goth girl that had her boobs out and a lot of red lipstick
That's facts.
and rice bug. Here.
Wanted to be Avril Lavigne. Also, I wanted to do all of the straight A things, do everything correctly.
Straight
And
edge
so-
Avril Lavigne.
Yeah. So that's basically what it was. I would say that probably pretty
Yeah.
much sums it up.
Hey,
I don't think
I
y'all's
get it.
parents would have let you hang out with me. Like honestly,
My parents wouldn't let me hang out with anyone. First of all.
it wasn't personal.
Yeah, no, it's not personal. They just did not let me do anything.
Well, let me ask you ladies a real question. Did you dress up in black on Black Parade Day when the album was released?
No, because I'm a goth and not an emo.
I did have a shirt.
Same.
I had a Cheers shirt. We were more into midnight showings than album drops, actually. That was like the thing over here, was the midnight showings of movies. Like we went to, I think, 2 of the 3 Pirates of the Caribbean ones. And one of them coincided with the last day of school. So I was dressed up in like attire on the last day of
Nice.
school. And that's, of course, the day they take a lot of yearbook photos.
Yeah.
So
Oh.
there's the year, one of my yearbooks, there's a bunch of pictures of me looking like a pirate. Like, so
Hard, maybe.
clearly the love for dressing up was starting somewhere.
started
Like
earlier.
it's always been there. Like
I get it.
I love a costume. I love a theme.
I love the drama. Nobody can tell.
Yeah. It's so good. But yeah, okay, so I love your first event story.
It was really
We've touched a little bit on weapon crafting and stuff, but you do craft nights for Dragonspire. You have like
Yeah.
the ideal setup, is my understanding. I've somehow never managed to make it over to one,
Shame.
which is a shame. It really is a shame. It kills me.
Prim's got to get over there
But
because there's
know.
it's an amazing shop
feel
and
like my
it is
mind will be
such a
blown.
resource. Merrick is a saint for letting people use it.
I've heard. When did you start making your own? Was when did you was it right away, or was it like
Who was your first
Yeah, who
teacher?
taught-
No one. Yeah, basically the internet taught me how to make weapons. I don't necessarily owe any real knowledge to necessarily anyone per se. However, I did pick up a lot of tricks from some people over the years, like Brutus from Prometheus, Gorg with some of his tools and shop setup. Yeah, pretty much most of my stuff was self-taught and just observation. My first sword was a PVC sword. It was a brick, and I mean a brick. So I don't know if too many LARPers remembered this. You know, maybe some of the old heads like me, but back in the day, your here website back when here was something to be a little proud of. Website was such a resource, though the forums were. It was
Really?
like, I mean, the forums on basically any LARPing website prior to like 2014 was like a Library of Alexandria. Granted, you know, it was just pictures or posts of people trying different things, but showed there was a live community building things and trying things and like, hey, guys, I got this sword to work, or hey, this new technique is working. And so it was just like I kind of kept my eyes on the forums as much as I can. I guess if I were to name a couple people that like I was really drawn to early on, one of them was Arrakis, and I think it was it Fitz Calliston? Because Fitz Calliston did a plastic tutorial on the old DAG boards, and it was phenomenal on how like on the money he got a lot of stuff, but a lot of that information was just deleted. Like Arrakis's spear tutorial still, even though you can't find it anymore, it still lives on in all the spears I build. So like
That's so awesome.
It's really cool though.
because I thought he figured it out, and it's still viable building technique. Yeah,
Like having all that free exchange of information and
Yeah.
stuff like that anymore. Like for me, like whenever I'm not making weapons but other things, it's like I gotta go to the YouTube. I gotta go, you know what I mean? And you try to find something, but it's not the first video that you find a lot of times. It's the
No.
third one or the fourth one or even more because it's
Or
you gotta
pieces
find
of each one.
yeah, and then you have to combine everything in together like that.
yeah.
And you can't just give up and go buy something.
But it
at
would
the time, really,
it
you
would be
couldn't.
so
Like,
awesome.
There were places you could buy stuff, right? But it's not like you could just go to the store and pick up like a finished thing. You know what I mean?
No.
Like you were all kind of figuring it out
but with
and
it,
improving things.
but with it being like on the Adaga here website and everything, I think that it would be nice to have something like I'm getting into the sport and I don't have the support of somebody like Merrick who's around or Dunlin who like would loan me weapons or help and teach me. If you're out there in an information desert or you know a kind of a LARPing desert and you're traveling out to events, having a place that I don't want to necessarily say, oh, it's an authority. You could be like, oh, at least I know this is going to be bell legal. Or at least I know that this is what other bell players are doing. You know,
You're not gonna get there and be like, "Oh, this actually doesn't work."
I wonder how many people have built a sword and it
I'm
was
sure a
only
lot.
amp guardian, you know, like
Oh,
or
yeah.
it's too light. You know, I would be very disappointing.
Yeah, and that's the problem that I think a lot of LARPers tend to forget is like not only like the language that we use for crafting materials, but also just where is a good like resource that people can go to, because everything is so spread out. Like not even like the national websites who know that we use these materials, they don't even list those half the time. And so I will still see on forums, where do you get these? Where do you get these? Where do you get these? And it's just like clearly something isn't working, and you know, maybe that's where a lot of the struggles are with putting people into the game. Is just it's always about finding resources, you know. And like the best resources I can remember, and I wish I knew who made this, was the Arendor sword tutorial. You guys ever grow up playing Flash games in school? Okay,
Yeah.
me too. I love Flash games. Well, Arendor made a Flash tutorial on how to build a foam sword out of a blue sword. or make a blue sword out of PVC and blue foam. And that, I don't know how many people got into the game and used that tutorial, but that was phenomenal. And it
Awesome.
was very clear to follow.
It's
Not-
important. And that's the thing. It's like it doesn't have to be a tournament match. You know what I mean? To get out on the field. If people feel like the only real alternative, like the only way to get on the field is not trying to say anything about what people charge for weapons and stuff. There is time. Like people never realize how much time it actually takes. You have to tell yourself time too. Price of some of these weapons, especially if you're not into the sport and haven't played for a long time, that's a huge investment. That can be a barrier.
Oh, for sure. I mean, just like any sports equipment that you get, you want to get something that's good, that's rated well. You don't want to just it's just like getting your first glove for when you play baseball. It's not going to fit well the first time. You might have to beat the crap out of it to get it to fit well, but you're going to make it work until you can eventually afford to get a better one. And that's if you are interested in continuing that. But, for someone just starting, asking $200 for like a basic sword or something, that's a high cost, especially, when a lot of other people are also using those swords. So you want to stay competitive, right? And so if you want to stay competitive, you have to kind of fork out that money. It's hard for a lot of people, especially now.
Yeah.
I mean, we live in
Right
an
now.
economic crisis. And
And have been.
not saying like we haven't, not saying like this is the worst time we live in. We've always kind of lived in bad times. I grew up, with Clinton in office. You
Mhm.
guys remember? Yeah.
I was there.
You guys remember Clinton? You remember Bush? You
Mhm.
remember the 2008 economic crisis? I mean, my family
yeah.
we about lost our home. We about had to move.
I graduated and there was no jobs. I graduated in 2000. 2008 hit hard.
Yeah.
I feel you. Rough. So it's like back then, a sword. If you were to buy a brand new sword from Grand, the only vendor at the time then was Forged Foam. I guess a felon. It was like $30-$40 for us. I mean, $30-$40 was a lot of money back then.
It was.
Mhm.
I was gonna say that felt like a lot back then.
But now it's like than now.
Right.
But they still sell a sword for like $37, which is your basic sword. Which that's
I
what
did
you
not
need.
know that.
Yeah. So Forged Foam is still doing the Lord's work and trying to get people into this game because you kind of touched on it a little bit earlier when you were talking about my shop. Is like it feels like there's this barrier of entry for a lot of people when it comes to making gear. And I'll tell you right now, there are indeed barriers, economic ones, even location. But if you have the gumption, you can make it work. So for me, like when I first started making weapons, I didn't have the shop that I do now. I only got that 6-7 years ago now. But before then, I literally only had like a tiny little space ever to craft my weapons. Like when I got interested in foam fighting, it was like right at the end of high school, early college for me. I'm still living at home. My parents are little hoarders, so finding space is pretty hard. So literally building my PVC sword and my shield at the same time on my porch in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
Still getting high on DAP fumes,
Right.
despite being in the open air.
Was it DAP back then?
Naturally.
It was still DAP, and you could get a lot more, much cheaper.
Oh,
I
for
have
sure.
heard that.
Oh yeah, the big quart-sized cans, you could get those for $4. Now they are $20-$25, and Walmart doesn't sell those cans.
I know
Really?
the little
Yep.
ones.
Yep, they only sell like the little pint-sized ones for
Mhm.
about twice as much as like the original quart size cost, so maybe like $8.
Like 10 or we just had to
It's-
get one. I think it was like 10 or 12. A little.
It's quite expensive.
think it-
Yeah, we tend to get the bigger cans because it's
You're gonna
cheaper.
go through it.
Yeah.
You're gonna use it.
Yeah, but like space-wise, you can build your weapons anywhere. If you
With ventilation. With ventilation.
Yes.
ventilation is good.
Open a window, put a fan on.
DAP
you're fine.
DAP is a carcinogen if inhaled for too long and too much. So
You can actually make yourself probably allergic. I made myself allergic to super glue
Yeah.
because I huffed it too much making things.
goodness.
So that's a real thing.
Sounds legit. Like you can get
You
you can get
can't-
allergic to like nail polish and like
Yeah, you
not
can't.
nail polish and like all those dip polish like nail polish.
Yeah.
All of those things like that.
You can have people that aren't allergic to latex gloves develop a latex allergy. It just stuff happens too. So be careful with the chemicals you work with. Ultimately, You can make most of your weapons anywhere. When I didn't have my parents, I had my tiny one-bedroom apartment. And when I say I want to facilitate fun, I mean I'm going to facilitate fun. So when I went to college, I showed LARPing to a few of my friends, and they're like, "Oh, this is cool." And the next thing I know, I'm starting a realm up there, and I have 30 people. I have to
Oh my
build
gosh.
build weapons for, and suddenly there's like 20-ish people and 20 to 30-ish people inside my apartment building
Isn't it a
swords.
lovely problem to have?
It is a lovely problem to have, but my gosh, especially for someone who hadn't even been playing a year at that point, showing other people how to build swords and also showing them how to fight and everything else.
Yeah.
That was a lot.
Just going through, going like, this is what I know. Okay, this is all I got.
You wonder why, like where I'm at 16 years later running a realm. Where did you get started? Well, you see, I just kind of asked for it, I guess.
Facilitated the fun. I love
That's
that phrase.
right.
I'm stealing that.
I know,
mine.
that's so good. Me and Tiff are going to be running around
Trademark,
Olympics,
trademark.
and we're going to turn to
Write it
each
down,
other, and
write
it's
it
like,
down.
it's time to facilitate the fun.
It's so true though. And
Yeah, it
that kind of
doesn't just
leads
happen.
into like sort of the next pieces of things, which is like the evolution of the game and community. Sounds like it kind of just formed around you kind of again facilitated the fun. It kind of formed all aspects of it. We're gonna just kind of talk about like thinking about the honeymoon phase of when you started LARPing and everything is like I feel like we're a little bit in it still.
Oh, yeah.
Everything is like magic and rainbows and like wonderful and this is great. Then the realities of problems that come up.
Game
How-
played by humans.
how you address those because we talked like a little bit in our chat of like
Yeah.
a lot of people talk about the amazing things that happen in LARP and like
Yeah.
all the positives and there is a lot obviously we all love it and we're still in it.
Oh, yeah. We
But
do it for a reason.
I think it's really important to address like the negative stuff too and the stuff that's hard and the things that don't get talked about as much.
The reality.
So kind of give us like the transition of like honeymoon to the reality and like kind of how you like balance the two and find like where you're at now.
Because I'm sure you've seen a lot of people go and transition over that because you have
Yeah.
many people in your unit and realm that have been playing for a long time.
Like for instance, my unit of Hellhammer, they've existed since the 90s, since I was literally a baby, before I could even say foam fighting. It's just like their history goes back way farther. So I can only imagine like kinds of stuff they've seen and dealt with over the years. I know, I guess from my own personal experiences in foam fighting is like that you want to try and make the fun last as long as you can. However, doing so comes with the cost in certain ways. Like, for instance, in practice, for instance, it's one thing participating in practice, showing up doing the games. It's another thing making sure you have like all your equipment, get there on time, you're there every Sunday, you're in charge of the battle game, so that probably means you're not going to play as much. And if people have usually any issues, they'll point to you if there's something on the field. That really isn't the hard thing. You're just setting up a game. What the hardest parts I find is, and this might sound a little mean, but that's hurting the cats per se.
Yeah.
I've been somewhat of an educator in my life here or there. I've instructed children from giving them swim lessons to teaching them how to dig up dinosaur bones.
You're teaching adults too. I think you
I-
should have the title of educator.
I feel the burdens of an educator a lot of the time because not everyone can understand the positions that you're in, especially given when it's a hobby. And so there's a certain seriousness that comes to a hobby. So when you're just playing in it, you don't have that seriousness. But when it comes to running it, making sure it happens, you have to have seriousness. Then you're thinking about the numbers for the season. Do we have money to rent the facility? Can we afford the insurance?
The actual logistics. Of
the,
doing
the,
it.
the logistics of it can get frustrating, and you really need a team of people to support you a lot of the time. And so I guess at the end of the day, after everything kind of wears off, just really, I think the hardest thing is just managing a lot of the personalities of the game. We deal with a lot of ego because the game's easy. Here's the rules, set it up, play it, good. It's everything else that's hard. It really gives you a good insight into people in society. I'm a trained anthropologist, and I would say home fighting is its own breed of humanity at this point. If anything, it's an analog. really, like human development and society. Because the groups that we form, our realms, our parks, duchies, whatever you call them in your game, are tribes, right? And these tribes are small and fractious, and it can be unstable, but they can also be a beautiful thing. It's finite. The people that you have around you are finite. That's one thing I've really learned is you don't know who's going to be around. It's kind of they used to kind of do this back in the old days, when winter would clear and spring would come. The transition scares a lot of people from the past. And that's why, like, spring equinox is so big and important in these societies because it allows us to celebrate the fact that we're still living. And so, like, after winter and spring celebrations, you can look around and see all the people still living. And after 16 years, I can look around and see the same faces that I started with. There's some that are still stuck around, but I guess you don't really realize who is important to you until they're no longer playing in the game.
That's very true.
And so you have to treat the game serious, but also with a sense of like grace and understanding because what you have now may not exist tomorrow. So 16 years of running this game, I've gone through a lot of problems with running Dragonspire, unit stuff, everything. Dealt with some good eggs, some bad eggs, and one bad egg can ruin your realm. I'm sure there's a
That's
lot of
very
other
true.
people out there listening now that know, like, or have experienced that themselves. I've seen it just in locally, but everywhere. And so just treat people with respect, treat the game with respect, just try to do right by people as much as you can.
I think that's kind of like similar to what. So before we started recording, me and Sorvana were kind of having a little bit of a conversation about how it's what like our goal of all of this is, and it's like, yeah, we're talking about LARPing. That's that's like part simple surface level. But like what keeps us in it is the connections we have to everybody.
Yeah.
And there is like an ebb and flow of like some people come in for a little while and then quote, quote, real life happens and like respecting when people have to step away I think is hard sometimes too because you're like, well, this means so much to me, like how could you just like not step up and do this? I think especially for as long as you've been at like how would you say navigating the ebbs and flows of people coming and going, what's a strategy that you felt like kind of held you maybe like in a tougher time?
Well, I guess I kind of have my own moralities to fall back on. Like, even if this game is no longer for some people, and even if they don't want to keep going, I know for me, I got what I got out of the game, and that was really just learning about myself. And so for some people, I think when they're in a class, they do the class, they get done, it's over, right? They hopefully learn whatever lesson was in the class. But the problem is with life, class is not over until you're dead. And so for me, the only way I'm going to keep learning is by going forward, even if I'm tired, even if I don't want to get up in the morning, having a bad day. Like, at some point, I got to get up and move. Can't sit there, wallow in your crap all you want, but at the end of the day, you got to keep moving. And so for me, like, what this game taught me about myself was to keep going. Whether that was just getting the crap beat out of me and in the various trials that I've gone through in my life in this game. I guess for me, I always looked up to people that were almost unstoppable in a way. And touch them. Whether that's superheroes or video game characters or whatnot. It was just like what made those people unstoppable was just the fact that they kept going. They didn't stop. They didn't cry. They may feel things, and that's okay to feel, but they kept going because you don't have a choice.
If you care about it.
One of our Facebook questions, this is actually a perfect segue, and I'm kind of skipping around on the thing, but that was
okay.
like actually the question we asked was like, who is a person in the game that you look up to? And a bunch of people put tons of people. I'll just say who I said. I said Tari. From the moment I saw that person, I was like, that everything that they embody is what I want to try to achieve. Like, I want to be fierce. I want to be awesome. I want to help everybody. Like, I want to get people into this. I want to help make the things happen, facilitate the fun.
I bet you there are many days
Yeah.
that Tari and Rune have
Does
woke
not
up
wanna
and
do
they
it.
are tired, but consistency.
Yeah.
Being that consistency
Yeah.
for
But
other people.
who would you say is like, and you can obviously pick more than one. Who will like give me like your top 3 if you don't want to pick just one.
Goodness.
All right.
You can give more than 3. I just randomly picked a number.
You can arbitrarily change the
Yeah,
rules.
you can put them in any order as well. They're not in a hierarchy of order.
Starting from least favorite to most
Yeah.
favorite.
I feel like I'm doing trivia. We have to do like a timeline one where it's like start from the first one and tell me the first event that happened and give me in that order starting with 1.
We're doing history timelines?
Yeah.
I really like that though, can we?
I have to read the question when we do it at trivia, like exactly because my brain is like, I better not say this backwards because then they're all gonna kill me if they give the answer wrong. But yeah, like who would you say are like your people that you're like when you think of people that you've looked up to
Or pillars of the community.
Yeah.
Man,
Lots.
there are a lot of people I could name, and I've met so many people over the years. I guess one of my early inspirations was Quentin. His quiet power that he holds.
good description.
Eric is giving hot take right there. That's a good one.
He might not say a word to you, but he'll beat the shit out of you.
And you know what? And the words he has said to me, because they have not been a lot, have been very respectful.
It's
Yeah.
always in a
He
challenge,
carries them in a very, you know what I mean? Proper.
You
And
want
not
to
in a
beat him.
weird way.
He inspires you to want to improve yourself. Because he's the one I try to get a shot on every time.
Right.
That's the win of the day. If
I
I
got
can shoot.
one with
Yeah,
a
if I can
spear
kill
one
Quentin
time.
today, because he's very sneaky. He's very
Mhm.
slippery. You
Yes.
can't always hit him. When I get him, I'm like, yes.
Feels like
I
victory.
achieved the day. Yeah, and I think that's inspiring.
Yeah.
I feel the same way when I kill Tari.
I-
I'm like, this is great.
Right.
This is what I'm here for.
Quentin is a great example. I feel like he's like a perfect example of, I'm not saying like, trying to put him in a box or anything, but it's like, coming into the sport as, somebody with baby powder on him and stuff and like and thinking about nights and things like that. It's not just like, oh yeah, you can fight. It's the way you carry yourself. It's the amount of like self-respect and respect for others. And I think Quentin really embodies that.
Well, I think too, leaders don't really call themselves the leaders. Like the best kings don't call themselves a king. Like they just do the thing that needs done and it gets done and everybody enjoys the fun that we all have. And those are the best people, I think, in all of that.
I never care for people who seek titles. I mean, don't get me wrong. Squires, you could argue, seek titles, but for me, I never did it for a title. I did it because I want to be better than myself. That segues into another person that inspired me early on who no longer plays, but that was Sarson. One of my first practices that I went to, he came out to. It was actually a Dunland/Dragonspire invasion of Greencastle because we were trying to help kickstart that park. I'm sure if you ask Wu, she might remember.
I'm pretty sure that Tay and Drayden.
I was gonna say
have
Drayden, I
mentioned
think, has
Green
mentioned it,
Castle.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't remember what prompted it, but I just remember I think asking him like, what inspires you in this game, or what made you want to be in this game? And he's like, oh, to be better than myself. And that's what I want to be because I thought I was a shithead prior to I start. So I thought maybe pursuing something a little bit more noble by working for the people might.
Pursuing something outside yourself to find yourself.
Yeah, to find myself, I guess, in a way. Initially, I didn't realize that I was already finding myself.
It's funny how it works, right?
Yeah. And even then, after you get the title, it doesn't stop.
No, it's never done.
No, it's never done.
There's
Not if you
always the
love it.
next thing.
It's
There's
never
always
done.
the next thing and the
Yeah.
next thing. Next thing, yeah.
How exciting, because if there was no more next things, I would be a sad girl.
I would be sad.
Yeah.
I love the next things. We're always hyping the next thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let's see. So we had people also mention, I think this person deserves a shout out too, is Frith from Rockville.
Yeah.
Is like starting a realm there. And it's
Yeah.
hard.
Mhm.
It's hard to do.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure the last practice I didn't get to go because I suck and I had to do trivia.
Mhm.
But I'm pretty sure last night they had a practice and it was like their little chat is like hyping. So
Yeah.
like it's really exciting to see people, especially right in Rockville where it's like kind of like LARP city. We should do an invasion.
That would be
It's a
really cool if we could
Tuesday.
do a group invasion.
They meet on
Mhm.
Tuesdays. I think that'd be really exciting for them.
Just wait 1 month so that I'm up here on Tuesday.
We need to we need to
Almost done with
strategically
the
plan this. But no, I think
News 10 invades. Rockville.
we'll do that. We'll do that on the weather report too.
Yep.
It would be really fun though. But that's I think also part of why we want to do this is we want to hype other people. We want to keep
Mhm.
seeing this community grow
Yeah.
and build and like new people join so that we can all do really fun things and be
Yeah.
able to share the load of carrying
Yeah.
everything. It's hard.
Like just finding LARP and getting involved in it has been such a gift to me. I feel like for me, like out there in what I'll call a nerd desert in the middle of nowhere, major city is an hour away. Anything that has any kind of population, right? So there's a limited amount of things to do out there. And when I, came across this community, I was just like, I found you and I'm never gonna let you go. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And I want other people, like I want other Sams that are in nerd deserts to hear this or see something about LARP and go, can you show up? I could just do this.
Yeah.
I could just start and yes, you can. And it's not just the fun of the game. It's the community. It's the type of people who play this game. That's everything to me. And that's what I want the most. Is other Sams to find LARP.
Yeah.
And don't let anyone tell you no. Don't let them tell you it's weird or different or
No.
just do it.
I think there's a
Mhm.
beautiful freedom in just being like, no, this like I think we talked about it in the first episode too, where I was like, I feel like I have to just come out to people now when I meet them and just explain like, hey, there's this thing I do and you just need to know about it because like it's a huge part of my world and I'm
Yeah.
gonna talk. It's gonna come up in conversation. You just need to be
Yeah.
aware that LARPing is a thing I do.
It's so interesting how the conversation has changed in almost 2 decades. Because like when I first started, we were still getting called explicitives.
Yeah, I bet. World back then.
It was
Yeah.
it was a much different world, but that was a time where if you were a little bit different,
It wasn't okay.
If you didn't fit in the box.
Yeah.
it wasn't okay, and I was definitely a weird kid, so I fell into LARP
Same.
quite fine. But the way I found out about it was my teacher, actually, weirdly enough.
Wow.
So okay, this all started kind of as a gag back in
This is a long running gag, Merrick.
it
committed to the bit.
it kind of is on how I got into LARP because I think personally everyone has like an interesting take on how they got into it, and so for like me, it was kind of this buildup of like, so for instance, I always like medieval movies and stuff like that growing up, but
Mhm.
never like outside of like movies and video games, right? For my foreign language class in high school, we got to go to Germany.
That
Did
would've
you
been
see it out
cool.
there?
Deutschland. So we went to this lovely little town by the name of Rothenburg, Germany, a walled off medieval city in southern Bavaria. Beautiful,
It's
beautiful.
dope as hell.
They had medieval shops selling helmets and knight's armor, and I just fell in love,
Aw.
and I bought myself a Crusader helmet.
Oh my.
Took it back on the flight with me, and
I
boy,
love that.
TSA had an interesting time with me. They're just like, "What's in your bag?" "A helmet."
They're like, sure it is.
Yeah, literally. Yeah, sure it is. And they see the scan
It sure is.
because I had it in my carry-on. Yeah. And they're just like, "What are you gonna do with this?"
Wear it. I'm gonna wear it.
So I have this medieval helmet.
That's really cool.
I would wear it occasionally. Weirdo. I was in theater. We do stuff like that. And my teacher, Miss McConkey, she's just like,
It was the
"Hey."
theater teacher.
No, it wasn't my.
Oh, okay.
Wasn't my theater teacher, but I had it, and I would take it and go to theater to mess around, right?
Amazing.
And my friends knew I had it. Like it became a whole thing while I was in Germany. Anyway,
Just imagining tiny preppy Merrick.
Yeah.
With my Hollister jeans and a
Yeah.
giant Crusader bag. Trying to go to Tuesday.
oh, it's funny when you see me in literally. There's a picture of me in jeans,
Yeah.
wearing like a polo and a Crusader helmet.
That's
Merrick,
exactly
we need
what I
these
imagined.
photos.
Yeah.
Oh my God,
Believe it or
love
not, I
that.
knew who MF Doom was before MF Doom was cool.
Whoa.
Before I
Hipster.
thought he was cool. Before I even knew who he was. And then I was educated, and then I learned him, and I love him.
And
I love him. He's the best. Anyway, yeah, my teacher's like, "Hey, so you like that medieval history stuff, right?" It's like, "Yeah." She's like, "Well, I saw some dudes with, I thought, swords in West Terre Haute out of the church, beating the crap out of each other. I don't know if that's something you'd be interested in, but you were the first person I thought of." I was like, "Okay."
Teachers
So
are cool. We
yeah.
don't pay them enough.
Yeah. No, we don't.
shout out to Miss McConkey. She got me into this game. Went out 2 weeks later, and here I am.
She did the Lord's work. Imagine, like all
Could you
of these
imagine if
amazing
she
things.
hadn't said
Yeah.
something?
I
Isn't
probably
it crazy? Just the like one little thing that could have
Yeah.
been different
I wouldn't have known,
if
and
she hadn't passed by them even.
my wallet would have been safer, but I wouldn't have traveled or met all the wonderful people I've met across this wonderful country we live in.
I know. I can't wait. Like, I want to meet more LARP people. I want to you know how like we have like the Midwest like LARP community and stuff.
Mhm.
I want to know the differences of like the Florida community and like out like
Don't know. You
oh,
don't know.
Mary, am I too?
We've
And am I
never-
still? Do I
we've
have too
never
much baby
been-
powder on to go to bed?
No, 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 no,
We're
no.
sweet summer children. We've never been outside of the Midwest.
Look,
For LARP.
Florida may be ready for you, but you're not ready for Florida.
Probably.
They're a different breed.
Oh, we are Dunland.
Are they Florida? Are they Florida man equals LARP or Florida man plus LARP equals chaos?
A little bit. A little wild down there. Out to Winter War and
I want to go to Winter War so bad.
Orc Wars.
Oh,
Shout out
yeah.
to my
I've heard of
Albion
that one.
friends. Those boys sure do know how to host events. Great. Orc Wars kids.
I'll
Winter
have to
War.
add it to the list. I don't know what all we're going to be able to add this year, but my gears are already turning for like next year.
Hey,
Yeah.
Winter War is literally a straight shot for most Midwesterners.
Oh, I know. I want to go because it's in November normally, right?
Yep, it's November.
Yeah, I
It's in
want
the South.
I want to get a big bus.
We just get a party bus.
We're gonna get a party bus. We're
You're gonna
rent a
get
party-
the bus stuck in the mud.
I probably would.
You will.
Really?
You will.
It's like wet.
Oh, it can get pretty wet and it gets pretty muddy and the mud is red.
Oh, red clay.
Yeah,
I've heard. I was gonna say I've heard the
Oh,
setup
yeah.
is amazing.
yeah. It's an old Ren Fair.
Perfect.
Yeah,
See,
it's
we
great.
gotta
You
get
It's
see
it.
the
on the list.
stands.
We gotta go.
I gotta get that.
Maybe we'll figure it out.
Wars also has a little arena down at the what's that site in South Carolina? No,
That was
no.
East Coast. though.
Ragnarok was in Slippery Rock, Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Oh, it was in Pennsylvania.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Because I've heard the stories.
I've heard the stories of Ragnarok.
Yeah.
Eastwind Castle. is
I
the
was
name
aware of those in high school.
the Orc Wars site.
I saw that. I think I've seen because now I've been getting really deep into the TikToks and stuff like
Yeah.
that. I think I saw some footage.
Yeah, they're always. I know Lady G does a lot of promotion for the tournaments, and then a bunch of other people really hype it up. I would say between Orc Wars and Winter War is probably the best tournament scene in the entire country, and I've traveled around.
I want to get to Winter War, and now with you bringing up, I feel like
I feel like it should be on every fighter's bucket list. It's
Okay.
out of all the events I've gone to, Southern events have always been the best.
Wow.
Like-
take.
But
Don't get me wrong, Midwest has some really solid events, especially here in our own state, Middle March Run and War and Olympics, very, very solid events.
so much fun. Talk about facilitating the fun.
But then Winter War boys and Orc War boys, it's a
Different.
different breed down there.
I had to do a dentist today.
Dunland did a race.
I lived in the South, for Louisiana and Texas forever, so you can't judge me.
I lived in Florida for a year, I feel you.
And
Not-
one
not
summer
long
there
enough.
ran.
Well, I think we've got a couple more Facebook questions. I think we're gonna try to hit.
Yeah.
Okay.
One of them was advice for new fighters.
Okay.
We had a couple people say, I'll share with you some things. And one person say their advice to new fighters is just remember that regardless of how crazy good people are now, how advanced their craft is, or even how well they manage or command their group, they all started exactly where you are now, knowing very little and aspiring to greatness. I think that's pretty true. And I feel like we've kind of hit on that too.
Yeah, don't be intimidated
No.
just because people have been playing for 10 years and they got full kits and they're gorgy.
Yeah.
You know?
But we also had people respond with just literal advice. So one person said, always keep an extra change of clothes in your vehicle. I could definitely see that, especially with how wet things unexpectedly get places. Nobody likes wet socks.
That's
Nobody
like
likes
my
that.
number one
Yeah.
rule in camp is always bring more socks.
Bring so many
Mhm.
socks.
You're not feeling good, change your socks. You're wet, change your socks. Your girlfriend left you, change your socks.
That's fair. Another person's advice was literally just hydrate, and I do think that's a really important one.
Especially
Especially as an older person.
I want to say I wanted to say almost especially getting, but everybody almost feels it, and there's a lot of community people reminding people. But remember, even events like war, it may feel like it's slightly cooler because it's later in the season, or even Olympics, if it's not super rainy and stuff out there, it happens. You remember, you're sweating, and it's gonna just happen. You know,
Mhm.
even if it's not super hot.
And then another person said, just remember to have fun. Don't forget that it's fun. It's supposed to be fun at the
That's
end of the
right.
day.
Yeah.
I mean, I always felt like that's a double-edged sword. But I feel like this comes back from taking video games too seriously for a long time.
Yes.
I made a lot of money online playing video games for a minute. And yeah, it's just a game. When you have money and you have such time and energy and things like you were saying, Merrick, be respectful of others because you never know what this means in someone else's life.
Very true.
Yeah, that is true. And I would also say too, like anyone who's starting out too, is Just remember, everyone was anxious when they first started this game. Everyone was scared. Everyone was probably alone too. You're not the only one. There's lots of people out there, and you shouldn't be scared in this game.
And
You
come
sh-
say hi if you do feel
Yeah.
lonely or scared. I know any of the three of us will talk to you and anything. I know that.
I'll also just sit and do nothing quietly with you. I like
That's
that too.
right.
I don't mind that either.
But also, remember who you are. Don't let anyone try to change that out of you, no matter what experience they say. But also, try to respect the place that you are in, especially if you don't know all the ins and outs of things.
Yeah. If you're walking into a lot of these realms are like a TV show that's 10 seasons deep. You know, like that's
Yeah.
the way I view it. Like I don't know. I'll never know what happened in season 1. You know what I mean?
You can just pick up
maybe
right now.
maybe I'll get some highlights from season 7. You know what I mean? But you never know. Yeah, like you said, be mindful of situations you may not understand. Something may happen that you don't fully understand. Hold back for a second. I'm very guilty of not doing this. This is why I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's like I'll be like, "Oh, do you need help?" And it's like, you know.
I've definitely had to tell myself it doesn't have to be perfect right now. Like it doesn't. I don't have to do every single detail. Doesn't have to be perfectly planned.
Yeah.
Right.
We can just do it and have fun, and it can just happen, and everybody will be happy as long as you have like the main things. If you've got people who have food, people need a place to just hang out. You need the space, and then you just need to let it happen. Let it be the thing. I feel like food is a big one, at least in my world. As long as I guarantee to like get some people some food here, provide something, they'll stick around.
Yeah.
If you feed them, they will come.
If you feed them, they'll stick around.
Yeah.
But to double down on like the anxiety part and stuff that you were talking about, I used to have a lot of anxiety.
Yeah.
You know, like that's part of the reason why I used to become like
crazy.
really into video games because it was it created a barrier between me and the world, and I lived that way for long. There were whole months I didn't leave my house. One of the things that has helped me a lot with like anxiety or like starting something new like this, I mean, obviously my age helps a lot, but if you can get comfortable with being unsure, you have to be able to move forward and be unsure. Like I'm gonna go out there and fight. I don't know how it's gonna go today.
You have to do it scared. I have a friend that said that. Do it scared. Do it with your hands shaking. Just whatever you have to do, just do it, or it won't happen.
Yeah.
And I always loved that.
And pushing
Michael King.
and pushing through that, feeling that unsureness, like being scared and pushing through the benefits for that. Like I'm talking, like I feel like I'm talking to the babies right now, like 18, 19 babies.
Yeah.
When you push through that, the rewards on the other side of community and knowing that you pushed through on the inside, nobody can take that from you. Once you push through, stand up and do that, that builds that strength or pillar inside yourself. Honestly, that's something that you can get back from this that has nothing to do with fighting or other people. That's a very internal thing that you can carry forward in your life to others. Like you're saying, whenever you were like, when you started out, I want to be a better version of myself.
Yeah. And the reason why like those words hit me so hard is, I'll be a little vulnerable here for a second. When I grew up, prior to me graduating high school, I was scared. I was very scared. I did not have necessarily a great time in school, wasn't always the best at home, and so like I never felt like I had like a place. And so like what I ended up doing for most of my life was I confided myself in video games, especially games like World of Warcraft, for instance. And that game kind of taught me like despite like your circumstance, like age, location, it didn't matter. You're all there to play this game. So I found a community in there, and it wasn't until like I discovered foam fighting that I found something similar, that it didn't matter who you were, who you like, what you were. You want to do this thing with us? Okay. And I think for me, like it taught me to be open because I had to talk to people. I want to do this thing, so I got to facilitate this. So I have to talk to people. I have to. Scares the crap out of me. Scares the crap out of me. It really does.
Anything new is always scary.
It is
for me.
It is.
Anyways, that's my anxiety of like the not having it all planned has always been like a really big challenge, and letting go and being like, okay, I can talk. Like, I've seen this person like 5 times now. I don't feel as scared, or like I can like the walls can come down a little bit and like just be a weirdo.
Yeah.
Like, it's freeing. Like, once you hit that, I think it's just so freeing, and I think that's what a lot of people find in this too.
Yeah.
Like, one of our questions is we talked about, like, what's the glue? And I think one of the glues of this that's unique is it's really, like, one of the only spaces I've ever been in where I'm like, no, there's probably nothing so weird that I could say that somebody would not also be like, you know what? I actually also think that sometimes. And I think that's, like, very freeing.
It is.
Yeah.
It's, yeah. What would you say, like, if you had to think of something that maybe is the glue that's has held your realm in particular maybe together, what would you say the glue is? That's one of our Facebook questions that we asked everybody too.
The glue that's like held Dragonspire
The
together.
literal dap.
Yeah. What's the dab?
It is the dap. Many people said the dap.
Yeah. Well, you know.
Some people said alcohol, but in the healthiest way possible.
Gosh, I think the camaraderie that people find within the realm, just like with any realm, is what has kept it going, and the individuals themselves that keep pushing. I know some people might say, with Dragonspire from an outside perspective, that I have been the one to be the glue to hold Dragonspire together. Really, it's just the people that continuously show up, because if it wasn't for the people, I wouldn't be there. I can't necessarily say I'm the glue because it's the people, it's my friends that I do this for.
It's friendship.
Yeah, the power of friendship, kids. You heard it first.
I'm unironically going to say it's the power of friendship. I watch enough One Piece that I can say that with my whole chest.
It really is, though.
I'll admit it. I have found better friends and just better people in foam fighting than I have in real life.
I
Most
agree.
of the time.
It becomes your real life, like a little bit. Like, it feels like we escape a little bit, but also it feels like it's your real life too. Like, I relate to what you said, because I did not have people backing me up, and without divulging too much of things that have happened, there was an opportunity where I got to stand up to someone who pretty much bullied me for a long time,
Mm-hmm.
and I had the entire realm behind me, and I never could have stood up to that person if I did not have those people.
Right.
And it's like, it's truly something special, I think, to have those people.
Unquestionably.
The people that have your back no matter what.
Yeah.
And want the best for you.
Want the best for you.
Yeah.
I think that's a really good point, because I feel like a lot of people in the LARP community, I'm not going to say it's without human negative emotions or bad things, because that's the most ridiculous thing in the world.
Nothing's
There's
perfect.
always going to be egos, jealousy, different kinds of stuff like that. But I personally feel like, from my little baby powder experience, that most of the people that I've interacted with that are trying to teach me how to make things, teach me how to fight, they are legitimately trying to help me better myself or push me forward. I never get this feeling of like there's something underhandedly happening. You know, I feel like I feel like the
they want to
type
help
of people
you to help you, not to help them.
Yes,
Like,
and I feel like a lot of the community, whether that be for multiple reasons, and I'm sure we could all say them, but the type of people who LARP a lot of time are very direct people, and I appreciate that. I would much rather someone be direct with me, like if I'm doing something, than to harbor feelings on the back end. So at least within like my personal experience, I've been very fortunate that way. I feel like people truly want to see each other succeed.
Yeah.
They do.
I find I've never found a friend in a sycophant, for me personally. Don't get me wrong, it's nice to have people agree with you, but I really pay attention to the people that don't agree with me,
because they're telling you the truth.
because they're telling me something that I'm not hearing myself a lot of the time, and so I find it troubling when everyone agrees with me about something. I try to follow this logic called the 10th man.
Okay, I want to hear this.
Yeah, what is that?
So imagine yourself, you're in a boardroom, right?
Mm-hmm.
And company CEOs come up with this idea for whatever, don't matter. It can be, you can imagine this in any other way, but you're in a board with a bunch of other shareholders and they're all talking about this idea, and sounds amazing, everything, but everyone doesn't disagree. There's no contention. There's nothing. You yourself have to recognize that you need a 10th man, because that 10th man's going to tell you, well, what if this happens?
Yeah.
Or, wait, let's think about this again, because you all just agree with that person.
And they don't see something.
You're sending troops over the wall to their death.
Yeah.
And you don't know. And so I've seen a lot of bright ideas in this game where everyone just doesn't want to say what they want to say, and that idea burns out very hard. Not just in this game, but also in
Yeah.
real life. If you don't have someone telling you, think about that,
Yeah.
then it's a really good idea.
If
Yeah.
someone's not playing devil's advocate like that, they're not really trying to make you or help you make whatever you're talking about happen. Because it's really easy just to go, oh yeah, it's a great idea. Okay. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? But it's a lot harder to go, okay, but what if?
Just
Okay,
be like, oh, dismiss them because it's like, oh, it's a hater. There's somebody hating on me. It's
Yeah.
like, no, listen to what people have to say.
I mean,
Mhm.
we have a
Yeah.
fine real life example for that type of behavior of not having a 10th man. Without-
don't we ever?
So yeah, please be careful with some of the ideas and don't be afraid to dismiss the person that disagrees with you. Maybe they see something you don't.
I'd rather find out in the boardroom than find out whenever the meeting's live. I'm talking for
Yeah.
50 people. You know what I mean?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
When you're brainstorming these ideas, say the thing.
Do the thing. Well, we've really hit like all the main topics that we wanted to hit. Do you have any like parting things or
Yeah.
closing statements, or I don't know what to call that? Never had a
Anything you
third
wanna touch
person.
on that we
I've never
haven't-
had a third
Yeah.
person to throw that to. So.
Sure. Yeah, I just have one thing. We went over advice for like people, or even some people are just kind of getting into the game, or maybe haven't gotten into the game yet. But I have some advice for some veteran people.
And you can do that because
Yeah.
like me being a baby, I could
We
never
can't tell 'em.
I could never. I don't know what I'm talking about, but you should.
And this is really just for the old heads that are still around, or some people that are becoming old heads now, or will be.
You're an old head, you don't know it yet.
Middle-aged heads. I don't know.
What's a LARP middle life crisis? Like you go get a glaive?
Aw.
Or is it a flail?
You get a
Shield?
flail. Flail in a
I might
tower.
say it's a flail in a tower.
I love it.
Don't be afraid of the change that's coming in your game. But also, when showing new fighters how to do something or how to do anything, just because it was right back in your day doesn't mean it's right now. The logic train doesn't follow, and all you do is you sit back and complain about the newer generation of fighters, but don't actually participate in training that next generation. You are the problem, and you need to be out of this game. So listen to the people that are around you, adapt, and grow. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here 16 years if I hadn't. And you're probably wondering where all those people are that you don't see anymore at events. That's probably why. So think about that. That was like perfect timing because
Yeah,
that was
it's
the end
right
of
at
that
the end.
thought. That'd be a good ending sequence.
Right.
Primrose Pile.
It is. Oh
I
my
don't
God.
know. I think it's really solid advice though for
I do.
not just like as people play the game longer. I feel like if you start like say you're getting to like 5 years and you're like, I'm not gonna say like middle LARP aged or anything, but you got some years under your belt, that's a good mentality to have. It's like because everything changes. I don't have a whole lot of context when it comes to LARP, but I do have life context. But it's like
Life gonna
games.
change
And like
whether
you said,
you want
the
it
game
to
has
or
already
not.
changed so
Yeah.
much. It will continue to change. And
gonna
if you love
change.
it and try to welcome people in with big arms and stuff, you know what I mean? Some people might be new, but that's kind of sometimes where new ideas come from. And just because someone's new doesn't mean they don't have a great head on their shoulders.
Yeah.
Some people are just really smart. I'm not talking about like me, I'm a baby, but some people are really smart.
I know the kid has asked you to build the scythe like 5 times already. Don't build the scythe.
No, I won't.
Don't listen to that. But
He
try
won't
to
have a functional one.
try to
promise.
steer them in a better direction. That's what you want.
His
guiding
problem
hand.
is his
Yeah.
problem is he's Death Knight Raider.
Yeah.
So he wants to be a Grim Reaper. He literally was like, I want this. And I was like, you can have a decorative one. But
Yeah.
I was like, maybe we make you a hammer or something. I was
Yeah.
like, I don't know.
Like I tried.
But
A
it
scythe
is.
so
That's going to be
dangerous.
the future. Like, that's what's going to keep the game going when we can't fight anymore.
Hey, I want
And
to
I
be a-
still want to show up and watch people fight.
I want to
So,
show up and watch people fight and cook
Yeah.
food and have fun and
roll
cheer
me
on
up in that
tournaments.
wheelchair. Like,
I
I
wanna
want to
s-
show up.
Oh yeah.
You
I
know
want
what
to
I
see the
mean?
arts and science. Like I can only imagine like in 10 years what the submissions into arts and sciences will be
yeah.
like with the new technology we have and the evolution. Like you're talking about evolution of LARPing, evolution of like
The tech is insane
yeah.
on where it's gotten. Like when I first started, you never saw a plastic shield. Now I see them all the time at events.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's like 50%. I would
Yeah.
almost say.
Carbon fiber was like not even a household term in LARPing in 2014, and now it's everywhere. So that's a hard barrier to entry that we talked about.
Like I don't know, like certain levels, it's like, starter weapons, and then once you know what you do, weapons. And then also, I like having a connection with the things that I make, because if it breaks, I can fix it.
Yeah.
And if you understand how the thing that what you have is made up and where the actual individual, you can protect it better too. If you understand how the thing you're using better, all the better, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, and lots of kids these days don't know how swords are built.
No, I'm sure. I mean,
I sure don't.
I only have the concepts of like what like I've seen out of your shop and stuff like that. But I'm sure, like, even like you said, like, the tutorial that you watched way back in the day, Daggy hairstyle. Like you said, there's new tech now. I bet a lot of what you watched out of that video or that flash game is probably
It's people making it accessible
Mhm.
and making it not intimidating, and again, like, you don't have to be perfect right out the get. You just have to pass.
you just have to
It's a pass. It
Yep.
doesn't
Get
have
your
to be
weapons
pretty.
checked.
Yeah,
Yep.
it doesn't have to be pretty. It just has to pass. Yeah.
Just has to pass. And also, that $200 sword, you can also make that at home.
Mhm.
I prove that every Wednesday and Sunday.
You do. Merrick does. I've seen some beautiful weapons. Light, fast, be crazy come out of there.
So don't let that stop you, kids.
Well, Merrick, I think we couldn't have asked for a better first guest.
No, of course.
I keep
thank
talking.
You.
I know.
You've done awesome. We've learned so much. You've showed. I want those pictures.
I want the pictures.
Can you do this about it real quick?
Yeah, real quick. Do you wanna oh my god, do you wanna do the Dunlin Goodnight? Oh my god.
Do you want to pick Dunlin Goodnight?
Do you wanna pick the Dunlin Goodnight?
The Dunlin Goodnight.
Yeah, we do this thing. Well, Sorvana started it. I don't know. It just became a thing.
So every single time whenever I close on the podcast and everything, I like, how like there's like TikToks out there that are just like, oh, if you do this, this, and this, you get a good night, right?
Uh-huh.
So at the end of the podcast, I pick some random metric,
Yeah.
right? That is like, well, you get it done tonight. Like last time, it was anybody who uses unconventional weapons out there on the field.
They get a good night.
Like it may not be the meta, but
Uh-huh.
you want to be a hammer user. And
Yeah.
if that's what makes your, brings your joy, then go for it, right?
Right.
So that was my metric that I picked last time.
Yeah. So who do you want to give a Dunlin Goodnight to?
What kind of LARPer would get a Dunlin Goodnight?
From a Dragonspire person?
What kind of LARPer would get
A Dragonspire?
You can pick
What
anything.
is
You can
the
be like a broad category or like somebody who only uses this brand of
Shout out to all my spear boys out there. They're holding it out.
the Spear Boys. For this episode, you get a Dunlin Goodnight. Okay? But not hoplites, just full spears.
I love it. Well,
That's how I made it.
I'm Prim.
And I'm Sorvana.
And I'm Merrick.
Aw. And we love you guys and stuff.
We love you.
And we'll see you on the field.